Good Wednesday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Here are a few of the stories we have coming up for you tonight. 10 young women representing the Wenatchee Valley will move on to the Apple Blossom Festival pageant next month. We'll tell you who they are coming up. Governor Jay Inslee gave his traditional State of the State address yesterday to both houses of the Washington legislature. Snow and wind are in the forecast for our Thursday weather, with bitter cold air moving in tomorrow night. We'll have more on that in your complete local forecast. Grant County Coroner Craig Morrison has identified 24-year-old Jose A. Rico-Flores of Quincy as the man who died during Monday night's officer-involved shooting at the Jackpot Food Mart in Quincy. After two officers arrived at the convenience store, Rico-Flores allegedly stabbed one officer in the arm and shoulder. The police then shot and killed him. His next of kin have been notified and his autopsy is scheduled. A Wenatchee man was sentenced yesterday to 25 years in federal prison after pleading guilty to selling large quantities of methamphetamine and fentanyl in both Wenatchee and Moses Lake. 41-year-old Edward James Salvador imported thousands of fentanyl tablets from California, where he was previously incarcerated, to be sold in central Washington. Vanessa Waldruff, the U.S. Attorney for Eastern Washington, said he also imported 15 to 20 pounds of meth several times a month. Salvador was arrested in Chelan County in 2022 after an investigation by the Columbia River Drug Task Force, the Moses Lake Police, and other agencies. He was one of 12 people indicted as part of the same drug distribution scheme, most of whom are still awaiting trial in U.S. District Court. A recent alcohol compliance check conducted by the Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board and Quincy Police Department has achieved high success. Alcohol compliance checks are regularly conducted to ensure that establishments are adhering to both local and state regulations for the sale of alcohol. The recent assessment involved trained personnel and underage individuals attempting to buy alcohol without proper identification at different Quincy establishments. Organizers say out of the 14 businesses checked, 10 successfully passed. The city of Wenatchee held a recruitment event last night seeking applicants for its vacant council seat. District 2 has been without a council representative since Mayor Mike Poyer left the seat to be sworn in. The mayor and several council members greeted potential applicants at the Wenatchee Valley Chamber of Commerce, offering information about membership. City Clerk Tammy McCord said 3 applicants have signed up as of today. Others told NCWLIFE News they might also apply before the Friday deadline. Council District 2 is the southwestern region of the city, bounded by Cherry Street, Okanagan Avenue, and Skyline Drive. Any registered voter living in the district may apply in person or through the city's website. 10 young women representing the Wenatchee Valley will move on to the Apple Blossom Festival pageant next month. The group was selected out of 24 contenders at last night's Apple Blossom Top 10 selection. 5 are Wenatchee School District students, while the other 5 represent Eastmont School District. 1 will become Apple Blossom Queen, and 2 will be named Princesses when the pageant takes place at Numerica Performing Arts Center on February 10th. When we come back, the Wenatchee School Board reorganized their committees at last night's board meeting. The Wenatchee Valley YMCA, Community Education Nonprofit Cafe, and the Chelan Douglas Land Trust were all awarded $14,000 in regional impact grants. And the presidential candidates who will appear on the Washington ballot in the March 12th primary have now been finalized. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Now there are even more reasons to meet at the Pybus Market. Outdoor dining and tastings, the fabulous farmers market, Saturday artisans on the concourse, and your favorites all week long. No matter the reason, it's always time to meet at the Pybus Market. Pybus Market, where community meets.
A ductless unit from Carrier can keep anyone comfortable. Take Shelly, for instance. She finds me time in her new attic-turned-home gym. And with her Carrier ductless unit, the temperature is always perfect. No matter how intense her workout gets. Carrier. Total comfort, totally happy.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Alpine Air. Heat and air, call Alpine Air.
What once was old now is new to the NCWLIFE channel. Tune in for Bonanza, Superman, The Andy Griffith Show, The Beverly Hillbillies, The Invisible Man, The Lone Ranger, and The Lucy Show. Check your program guide for classic programming on NCWLIFE channel, your local TV station.
The Wenatchee School Board reorganized their committees at last night's board meeting. The board will divide duties between budget, policy, and bond facility committees while aiming to pair a newcomer with a returning board member. Board member Martin Barron will continue on the Budget Committee with Board President Julie Norton, and board members Maria Iniguez and Miranda Skaliski will serve on the Policy Committee. Skaliski will also serve a 2-year term as the Washington State School Directors Association legislative representative. The board's service on the Bond Facility Committee will work with community members and be more of a representation-based role by Vice President Tucker Jackson and also Skaliski. The Wenatchee Valley YMCA, Community Education Nonprofit Cafe, and the Chelan Douglas Land Trust were all awarded $14,000 in regional impact grants. The Community Foundation of North Central Washington has awarded a total of $543,000 through their Regional Impact Grant Program to 63 different nonprofits. The annual grant supports core operations for nonprofits in Chelan, Douglas, and Okanogan counties. The grant awards range from $6,000 to $14,000 and is based on the organization's budget size. Other recipients include Animal Rescue Service Okandogs, the Indigenous Roots and Reparations Foundation, and the Chelan County Mountain Rescue Associations. Governor Jay Inslee gave his traditional State of the State address Tuesday to both houses of the Washington legislature. It was the governor's final such address as he prepares to leave office at year's end. He said Washington is stronger than ever thanks to clean energy legislation, increased housing, and economic advancements.
It is fair to say that in an era of tremendous change, Washington has emerged as a beacon of progress for this nation. And this year, we're going to make sure that that light shines even brighter. This is my 11th time I've had the honor to address this chamber. And I have a bigger audience every year. There are 1 million more Washingtonians today than when I took office, because Washington is the place to be. And I welcome our new Washingtonians who have seen the genius and promise of our great state. The minimum wage was $9 in 2013. Today it's over $16. Wages overall have grown by 39%, double the national rate. Our GDP has grown 45%, from $528 billion in 2013 to $768 billion today. And we should be proud of this. We are among the very few states that rank as both a top state for business and workers. We've done some great work.
The presidential candidates who will appear on the Washington ballot in the March 12th primary have now been finalized. Secretary of State Steve Hobbs announced yesterday that President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump will be listed, plus Republican challengers Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, and Vivek Ramaswamy. Also on the list, Chris Christie. On the Democrat side, it's Dean Phillips and Marianne Williamson. They seek to challenge Biden for that nomination. Voters in the primary must sign a party declaration on their ballot envelope in order to have their votes counted. Coming up next, redistricting in 2021 brought parts of the Wenatchee Valley under the wing of 3 new state legislators. We will introduce you to one of them, Representative Joel Kretz, coming up in tonight's feature story. Snow and wind in your Thursday forecast before bitter cold temperatures move in tomorrow night. I'll have all the details coming up in your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come tonight. Please stay with us.
So, how's Evan?
Well, he's all grown up now, but I worry about him.
So many dangers in the world. COVID, the environment, the opioid epidemic.
Yeah, I hear opioid misuse is on the rise.
I don't even know how to start a conversation with him.
This might help. GetTheFactsRx.com. There's a whole section on how to talk about opioids with your family.
Offer support, not judgment. Cool.
Talk to your family about the dangers of opioids. Visit GetTheFactsRx.com.
In Digital Media Arts program, we learn about video production gear and editing by the combination of class projects and nonprofit work and employment.
It makes things happen.
Yeah.
It's pretty magical.
We work in the industry at the Wenatchee Round, NCWLIFE channel, and the Town Toyota Center events. Every day we work with industry standard equipment for a hands-on learning experience.
In tonight's feature story, redistricting in 2021 brought parts of the Wenatchee Valley under the wing of 3 new state legislators. The expanded 7th district now includes Okanogan County, most of Douglas County, and the northern section of Grant County. State Representative Joel Kretz is a quarter-horse rancher in the very rural town of Wakanda. That's in northeastern Okanogan County. But as he told NCWLIFE's Jefferson Robin, he's no stranger to Olympia.
I was working on issues just as a private citizen, and I was involved in the Okanogan Farm Bureau, and we took some issues to Olympia, and I got kind of familiarized with it. And I guess the biggest thing I learned out of it is somebody working hard can make a difference. And I think citizens need to keep that in mind. I think a lot of people have lost that belief, but we still can. We still have a chance. And I got a little bit familiar with the Olympia system. And at that time, Kathy McMorris Rogers was in my seat here in Olympia. She decided to run for Congress. And I thought, well, I kind of know where things are and a little bit of the system. I'll do it. This was never my life dream, trust me.
Tell me a little bit about the place that you are from. You are in Wakanda, Washington.
Yes.
It's a ranching territory. Tell me about it.
It is pretty isolated. I'm actually in the suburbs of Wakanda, and I say that facetiously. There are no there's one building in Wakanda right now. It's an economically downturned area. There's a lot of struggles up there, which I think is true a lot of the district. It's by far the biggest district in the state. We go clear to Idaho. The whole northern tier is in it. That all has been in for a long time. We lost quite a bit of Spokane County when we picked up the rest of Okanogan and Douglas and part of Grant. So it's a real challenge getting around to the whole thing.
How well did you know Douglas County and the Wenatchee Valley and the Grant County region before your district was expanded?
Well, I don't know all the ins and outs of everything, but we'd worked with the 12th district legislators that had all that previously, on a pretty close basis. You've got a good team in there now from that area. We've worked on a lot of things together. There's a lot of common interests across that whole area.
Well, you're actually a transplant. You moved from Western Washington to Eastern Washington to take up your business, and you're a rancher. When did you make that transition, and what led to that life choice?
Well, I was on the west side in Skagit County logging, which I'd been in the timber business, my family, for generations, and really enjoyed it. But what I was finding was more and more, rather than being out in the woods doing what I like doing, I was spending time dealing with government agencies and labor and industries and the whole bit, and kind of had a chance to buy the place I'm on now in Wakanda, just kind of a fluke deal. Something I'd always wanted to do at ranching had always interested me. And I went through the books and it was pretty clear that I was working 6 or 7 days a week. basically is a revenue producer for the state of Washington from the way I could see it. You know, taking the long hours and all the risks and liabilities and not really scraping much off. It was mostly going to state agencies, and that's what I was dealing with more and more. And I kind of had enough. So I rolled the dice and sold everything I had over there and was able to get my foot in the door on the ranch over there in Wakanda. And been there ever since. Haven't made a dime, but I would do it again.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. Hope you had a great Wednesday. It was great because we finally saw some sunshine out there today. It wasn't a bad day at all. As we look down at the Wenatchee Valley, what a gorgeous winter shot of our valley. Blue sky out there today, and just that snow cap on the Cascades. Not a lot of snow. Most of what we picked up yesterday, as you can see, is now pretty much gone along the river bottom here in the Wenatchee Valley. But if you like snow, more is on the way. We expect possibly 3 to 4 inches of new snow, and that will be tomorrow into early Friday. It's going to be that fluffier snow, so we're going to cool down a little bit. So expect that tomorrow. But look at some of these snow totals. Snoqualmie Pass, 30 to 36 inches, and another 12 to 18 inches expected at Stevens Pass. They've already picked up between 3 and 4 feet of snow up at Stevens. And more is on the way tomorrow before cold weather. In fact, bitter cold weather moves into our area on Friday. We are talking dangerously cold wind chills, mainly because we could see some breezy conditions on Saturday. We could be below zero here in the Wenatchee area, and continued periods of snow. It'll be scattered here in the Wenatchee Valley on both Saturday and into Sunday. But boy, cold weather will dominate our weather picture over the next 3 or 4 days. More on that coming up. Today, though, what a beauty. 40 degrees, our unofficial high temperature. 32 is where we should be for this time of year. 54 rather, our record high, and that was set back in 1983. 32 this morning. That's 8 degrees above where we should be at 24 for this time of year. Right at zero, our record low, and that was set in 1974. Sunrise this morning, 7:46, and it's set this afternoon right at 4:30. All right, taking a look at what we can expect as we get you into Thursday. Temperatures will be generally about 5 degrees cooler. Lots of 35s from Moses Lake, Ephrata, Quincy into Wenatchee, and then cooler as we make our way north. Notice Omak's temperature tomorrow, 26 degrees. They will begin feeling the effects of that cold air as it begins to funnel down from the north tomorrow. Lake Wenatchee 30, and Leavenworth, your high temperature tomorrow at 32 degrees. Tonight we can expect partly cloudy skies, area of low pressure over eastern Washington. That will bring us some clouds tonight. Most of the shower activity, though, will be relegated to northwestern Washington tonight, so not much expected there. But as you make that morning commute tomorrow, here we go with snow showers in the forecast. We will see a 60% chance of it. Here it is when you head home from work, so snow may continue. But one thing about Thursday, a weather change is coming overnight, and here we go for Friday. Lots of clear skies as we begin our day. Partly cloudy, much colder temperatures. Highs on Friday only in the low teens, so we are going from 35 to about 12 from Thursday into Friday. Saturday, lots of sunshine out there, but not going to matter much. Still going to be cold. We are only going to see high temperatures Saturday around 10 degrees. We are going to see a strong northeasterly wind moving into the area, and we could even see temperatures below zero in places up around Twisp into Winthrop and farther north into Tonasket. Mostly sunny on Sunday. Not going to matter much either. It's going to stay cold as we end our weekend with high temperatures in the mid-teens. This high pressure actually grabbing more cold air and bringing it back down into Washington. Martin Luther King Jr. Day on Monday. Partly cloudy skies, still frigid out there. We're going to see highs in the mid to upper teens on Monday. And then our temperatures begin to warm up just slightly as we get you into Tuesday. Lots of clouds out there ahead of another storm system. Still going to be chilly on Tuesday with high temperatures only around 20 degrees. Let's take a look at your 7-day forecast now. 25 overnight tonight. Good chance for snow, maybe even some blowing snow tomorrow with those windy conditions we expect. High of 35. And here we go with the cold air. 8 degrees for our overnight low on Thursday. 12 our high Friday. 11 on Saturday. 2 degrees our low temperature both Friday night and Saturday night. And as we get into the end of the weekend, mostly sunny on Sunday. High temperature of 16. And we have a mix of clouds and sun for both Monday and Tuesday. Gonna stay cold, folks. High on Monday 16. And your afternoon temperature Tuesday right at 20 degrees. And that's a look at your North Central Washington weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Coming up this week on NCWLIFE Channel Sports, we'll do some grappling on Thursday where Wenatchee plays host to Moses Lake. We'll have that live streamed on Facebook at 7 o'clock. We'll rebroadcast the match Friday night at 7. Then on Saturday, we'll be at Eastmont High School where Moses Lake comes to call with the Big 9 girls at 4:30, the boys at 6. It's all right here on your home for local sports, the NCWLIFE Channel. Pete Caroll is being replaced as head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. ESPN's Adam Schefter was the first to report this morning that Seattle management had decided to go a different direction at head coach, keeping Caroll on as an advisor. The team owner, Jody Allen, put out a statement saying, quote, after thoughtful meetings and careful consideration for the best interest of the franchise, we have amicably agreed with Pete Caroll that his role will evolve from head coach to remain with the organization as an advisor, end quote. Caroll met with the media this afternoon to clarify what's going on.
Following our season-ending meetings with ownership in the planning sessions, it's clear that, and for a variety of reasons, we have mutually agreed to set a new course and for the club to take on new leadership. And that's just a decision that's been made, and there's a lot that went into that and a lot that went behind that. And for all my guys, I think you know how much I probably competed for our perspective and our standpoint and all of that. I freaking didn't back off for an instant. And what's going to happen now is the process will start to get new leadership here, and that'll be on Johnny's docket. He's going to get after that and make that happen with help of ownership and all that, and we'll be supporting them as much as possibly can happen so that they can do a great job with it. I'm so grateful to the coaches that have been with us for so many years. Also, all of the coaches that have been here for the years before that put up with my stuff and found a way, to bring it to life daily. And I have great gratitude for that. Really, it was really, and I go to it's not just the dedication and the loyalty, it's the freaking juice. It's bringing it. And I asked a lot of them, and they were good at it, and I appreciate that a lot. I'm so sorry. I'm so heartfully sorry for the families. Y'all don't realize how deep this runs. It's just going next coach, next staff, what's going to happen, what's the future and all that. There's people in this thing, and it breaks my heart that so many people get shocked and adjusted and surprised and all of that, and the children, and we have so many kids in this organization that we love so much and we celebrate whenever we get our chance. It breaks my heart that we're dealing with that, but that is what happens, and that's part of this business and part of a lot of businesses. It's not unique just to us.
Caroll was very emotional when thanking his players and his wife Glenna for their support during his 14 years in Seattle.
I want to remind us, I guess, one time about the work Yeah, tons of work, dedication, all that hard stuff that we do with coaches and players to get to what we can get to, but it's really always been about the fun. And Wags, you've always been the guy that always reminds us that if you ain't doing it right, you're not having any fun at all. And I appreciate you keeping me connected to that. It's pretty inherent to me too. You know, we're birds of a feather in that regard. But I also, Bobby, is I appreciate you and T-Lock and Gino that have kept me connected to our former players. That's a really important part of this relationship of being a coach, and particularly in this program where we've been there for so long and so many souls have come through. Having you guys with me all the way through this time, and I always feel like I'm a little bit connected to those guys, and I don't ever want to lose that connection because I'm so indebted to all of the time we spent and the things that we did. I'm so proud of really seeing the young men grow up and take off in their lives and doing their things and owning businesses and families and kids and the whole thing. It's a great joy for a coach, but I appreciate you keeping me connected to that. I've been blessed with like the rarest of best friends and mentor, loving partner, the angel in my life. This is worth crying for. Glenda, nobody would ever understand how significant she's been through all of the stuff that we've been through, and how important she is. As she's just been the angel in my life, and I owe you everything.
Besides being head coach, Caroll was also the executive vice president for the Seahawks. He says he's not sure what the future holds, but has high hopes for general manager John Schneider.
This isn't about me being the head coach. It's about this organization being successful and being on course for the long haul of it as well. And I realize that. I mean, I'm about as old as you can get in this business, and there's coming a time they got to make some decisions. And so, moving towards the future. If there's some way that I can add something to them down the road, we'll see what happens. But this is a good move for them, and Johnny's going to take this thing, take the bull by the horns and roll. And I'm so thankful that I get to see him take that next step and watch what he does with it. He's going to kick butt.
In 14 seasons, Caroll's Seahawks had a record of 137, 80-1 with 10 playoff victories and a Super Bowl win over Denver in 2014. Former Seattle defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, who has the same position with the Cowboys, is considered a front-runner as Caroll's potential replacement. By the way, just a personal note, I got a chance to meet Pete Caroll a few times. Never have I met a more positive person in my life. Seattle Kraken notched their 7th straight NHL win last night in Buffalo. Seattle beat the Sabres 5-2 behind goals from Yanni Gourde, Vince Dunn, Alex Wenberg, Jaden Schwartz, and Matty Beniers. Seattle continues its 6-game road trip tomorrow. They'll be in Washington at 4 o'clock. That can be seen on Root Sports Northwest. We'll start the Les Schwab Prep Scoreboard with girls bowling from yesterday at Eastmont Lanes. Battle for first in the league went to Eastmont. Down Wenatchee 3-1. The Wildcats won both games and one of 2 Bakers. High rollers for Eastmont. Jillian Castle with a 256. Devin Servine with a 237. Wenatchee's top bowlers Charlene Campbell with a 228 and Sophie Johnson a 225. Boys basketball Tuesday. Eastmont beat Wenatchee at the Town Toyota Center. Grandview got by Ephrata and Omak topped Cascade. Other scores, Liberty Bell cruised over Oroville. Lake Roosevelt topped Tonasket. Okanagan bettered Brewster by 1. Manson edged Bridgeport, and Cascade Christian topped Thorpe. Moses Lake Christian edged Riverside Christian by 5. So Plate put up 91 on Entiat. Girls basketball, the Eastmont girls earned a non-league win over Wenatchee at the Town Toyota Center. 45-28 the final there. Grandview thumped Ephrata and Omak topped Cascade. Tonasket took down Lake Roosevelt. Brewster beat Okanagan. Manson blasted Bridgeport. Liberty bopped Oroville. Moses Lake Christian down Riverside Christian. Soap Lake soared over Entiat. Now, don't forget, coming up tomorrow, we'll be out at Wenatchee High School for some wrestling. Big 9 Wrestling. Panthers host Moses Lake. I'll be Matt Side with your play-by-play starting on Facebook Live at 7 o'clock. That's Look at Sports News. I'm Eric Granstrom. Have a happy Wednesday.
And that will do it for our newscast tonight. For more news from around North Central Washington, you can find us at NCWLIFE.com, on our social media channels, or on our mobile app for iPhone and Android. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can email us at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks so much for being with us and have a great night.